Alvarez and Big Vinny B.
Craig Show here, February 18, 2019, figure4online.com/wrestlingobserver.com. Yes, we're all back here this week. Craig is back after, I believe, 3 weeks.
It was 2.
Vinny took a week off last week. Lance took over for him. Hope you're happy.
A severe upgrade, I'm sure.
So let's get into this show.
WWF Monday Night Raw number 352, February 21st of the year 2000. He opened up with a recap of SmackDown, in which DX had a bus. They locked Kane and Paul Bearer in the bus. They locked Cactus Jack in the bus.
Since when was Paul Bearer back?
He showed up with Kane last on the at the end of that match.
Yeah, like two weeks ago.
Yeah.
This recap that they had of SmackDown.
So yes, Kane and Paul Bearer went into a bus. Cactus Jack went into a bus. Rock went into a bus, but somehow Rock escaped the bus and he hit Big Show with a 2x4. That's what happened on SmackDown.
Sweet. They're DX Express, named after the Lex Express, a big popular thing in the world of professional wrestling that we need to bring back.
Yes,
obviously.
Such a rousing success the first time.
Lots of expresses in the world of wrestling.
Midnight,
Sure.
rock and roll,
Sure.
lightning. Yeah. So the bus is here on Raw because, as Jerry Lawler points out, they're like big rock stars. Money's no object to these guys. What a novel concept. I'm watching stars.
Yeah, they're not all broke and can be fired and lose their homes.
They're not desperate. And
There's only a small number of them here.
at least there's somebody.
There's only a few guys that actually have a bus here on this show.
They instruct the driver to watch the bus. Like the driver's going to stop any outraged superstar's going to vandalize the thing.
He was like $1.20 soaking wet.
Yeah, and not young. DX comes out to a remix theme song. They are here in the Georgia Dome. It's a huge, rowdy, loud crowd. Great environment. It is the go-home show.
You know, they still only drew 28,000 people. Like, even when WCW was really sucking, they were still putting 42,000 people in the building.
Yes.
Which I believe WCW announced was 39,000 because they're incompetent.
Of course.
But yeah, they only drew like 28,000 people to this show here.
I realize there's a small crowd for this building, but it's still a big crowd for Monday Night Raw.
There was a lot of hollow echo here as these guys did their promos.
Got it, yes. So before they say anything, The Rock interrupts. There were no hollow echoes for The Rock's entrance. There were screams and cheers and hollers.
This was the opposite of last night's Raw crowd.
They're very loud and rowdy, yes.
Yes.
So Rock notes that Hunter cuts the same promo every week and never actually says anything. Hunter says, Rock, you're here by yourself. Out comes Cactus Jack. So here's Jack's story. Yes, he says, you abandoned me in the middle of the road last week. But I have been hitchhiking since I was 17. So I hitched a ride with Big Earl the Trucker. We found Kane and Paul Bearer along the way, and they're here too. They come out. Cactus, as far as I could tell, booked a trios match. All right.
Sure.
A brawl broke out. The pilot of this, if you're doing the math, it's Hunter, Road Dogg, Billy Gunn, and X-Pac against Cactus, Kane, and Rock. And these numbers do not add up. So there's a brawl going on, and X-Pac is in the middle of the ring, frantically looking for something to do. Looking for anyone with a spare fist to hit him with. And finally, Big Show hits everybody with a chair. And of course, Hunter pedigrees Cactus Jack.
I've already forgotten. Is this another turn? Was he a heel the last time we saw him, or was he a babyface?
He was a heel.
Are we sure about that?
I think this may be the culmination.
You missed last week.
I didn't. Actually,
it's possible he was a babyface last week.
Even though I did not do the show last week, I did watch Raw last week.
Wow. You didn't watch Nitro?
I did not watch Nitro.
I should make you go back. You can't skip a week of Nitro. Are you kidding me?
I've watched everything, even though.
Are you kidding me?
Maybe.
We'll talk.
Maybe we'll see how it goes.
I may force this before I send your page.
I'll be honest. I considered watching it. Then I remember I have to watch the Royal Rumble too, or Elimination Chamber. So I thought
that's your excuse. I would watch Elimination Chamber too.
Well, you got me there.
Yeah, I do have you there. You'll pay for this, Vinny. One way or the other.
I'm sure
You always do.
Yes. I always do. It's true. China and Chris Jericho versus Kurt Angle and the British Bulldog.
Newsflash, the British Bulldog is still alive and well.
I don't know if he's well.
Well, not today.
I don't know why. Well, not even then.
I thought
He died shortly thereafter, if I recall correctly.
You don't have...
This sounds horrible, but I've been expecting him to die for months now.
That is, in fact, horrible.
We had forgotten this entire second Bulldog WWE run, WWF run.
Yeah, my point is that the British Bulldog probably wasn't well.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I could be wrong, but
So they're in Atlanta. Angle says he won gold medal in this town, but since then all they do is cheer for John Rocker and Isaiah Ryder.
yes, 2 years left he's got.
That's still a long time.
Yeah.
If I told you you had 2 years left, would you be okay with that?
I wouldn't be here.
It's a long time, Craig. You might be here.
No, I wouldn't be here.
If you knew he had 2 years left, you'd say he had better things to do.
I don't know. Watching Raw Nitro? Dude, you can't die before we finish the Monday Night War. You understand?
I'll put everything.
2 years.
I'll put everything.
Yeah, so he could be here.
Yeah.
There's only a year left of Nitro.
Okay.
A little over a year.
I can screw off the other year.
Whenever you want to do that for that.
Sure.
What will be done with you?
Or the rest of the week.
Yeah.
7 days in a week, dude.
Anyway, Angle hit China with a European belt on SmackDown because sources told him she was going to steal it and for more plastic surgery.
It's not so much that he hit her with it; he kind of threw it at her.
You know, the problem with things like that is I've said this a million times. I actually got this from Charlie Brown and Lucy, the comic book.
Sure.
Where
Now I understand.
Charlie Brown
I was confused
he was always very upset that Lucy called him a blockhead.
Right.
Sure.
And finally, Lucy just explained to him, if I really thought that you were a blockhead, I wouldn't call you a blockhead. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, it's one thing to
She was lying to him, you realize.
it's one thing to say that you're stealing the belt because you're going to pawn it off for plastic surgery. If, for example, you look like Ryan Shamrock. Doesn't look like she's had a lot of surgery.
No.
But when you're China, and it's clear that over the last year you've had an abundance of plastic surgery, it's kind of like hitting a little too close to home.
I see.
You know what I'm saying?
I see.
That's what I
It
thought.
was a low blow on the truth.
It was a low blow on a woman.
Okay.
This is all more interesting than the match, which went 2 minutes. Angle hit Jericho with the IC belt and pinned him with an Angle slam. Too Cool tells Rikishi he should rest his ankle tonight. The doctor advises Rikishi not to wrestle.
This show is so stupid sometimes.
Sure.
Why did they want him to rest tonight?
Because he has a bad ankle.
Okay, but what was he going to do?
Wrestle Eddie Guerrero.
Who has what?
Arm and a
fucking
sling.
elbow.
Yes.
Jesus God Almighty! Why was this match signed? Who signed this match? Rikishi with a broken leg against Eddie Guerrero with a broken elbow.
That's what the match was.
Dude, and Rikishi's like, "Shut the fuck up! I can do this match," and I'm like, "He's right. Why could he not do this match? What is preventing him from doing this match with Eddie Guerrero?
I
With
get-
a broken elbow.
I guess just the fact that he's a very large man putting any weight on the leg of. Maybe they didn't want him walking or jogging either.
Okay.
Well, everything Eddie Guerrero does offensively involves his arm, which is broken,
He has another one though.
and he's really small. Dumb.
Anyway, well, Rikishi agreed with you. He told them to handle their business
Yeah.
and the doctor to tape him up.
Leave me alone.
Too Cool versus Head Cheese.
You know, I gotta say, I hate to say it.
Oh no.
I like this segment.
Oh.
So, Al Snow's backstage, and he explains to Steve Blackman. He says, Too Cool is over because they dance. And he's absolutely right, by the way.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not over for any other reason. They're over because they dance, and they have cool music. So he says, we need you, Steve Blackman, to dance. I thought, you know what? He's not wrong. Steve Blackman is very boring. And if he went out there and danced, he would get over.
Sure.
So, he gives them yellow glasses the color of cheese. They hit their music. It's their old music. They come down. There's no dancing. There's no yellow glasses. But they do have the match. So they're doing this match in the ring. And Blackman is about to get the win. And Al Snow jumps on the apron and he says, "Fucker, dance!"
I regret to inform everyone that's not a precise quote.
I think you're paraphrasing there, but sure.
Blackman says, "I'm not going to dance."
Fucker.
Al Snow says, "No, fuck you, dance!" So you know what Steve Blackman does? He gets in the goddamn middle of the ring, and he starts doing the moonwalk.
The worst moonwalk I've ever seen.
Cried with laughter. And you know what? The fans, they go crazy. Steve Blackman's dancing in the middle of the ring. Well, then he gets rolled up and pinned. So he is a goddamn moron. And Al Snow's an idiot. But, I mean, fuck. If I gotta watch these fucking guys have matches, like, I enjoyed this. I was entertained.
Okay.
Fair enough. D'Lo, Godfather, and like 15 women walked down the aisle. A big crowd with
Talent in Atlanta.
That I've heard is true. I've heard it's true. So it's D'Lo and the Godfather versus Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko. So there's a spot here where they're supposed to cut off the
I went to
Godfather.
Atlanta
Yeah.
for that Abdullah the Butcher.
Oh right, yeah, right.
Yeah, I can confirm.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, now I wish I'd gone. So the idea for the heat is Godfather's going to do the hoe train, which is what he calls his avalanche. He's going to run from one corner to the other. Saturn is going to cut him off with a spear from the side.
Yes.
So Godfather starts running, and Saturn runs as fast as he can, and I don't know if his head was actually face down or his eyes were closed, but he was head first into the Godfather's hip, and like legit almost knocks himself out.
Well, I think part of the problem was I think that he was late.
I guess.
And the Godfather was already running. The train
Had left the station.
It had left the station. So he fucking flies through the air to try to take this guy down. He hurts himself more than he hurt the Godfather.
That's
Clearly.
good.
He's crawling his ass back to the court. He probably got a concussion.
I'm sure
but
he did.
It's 2000, so like we just keep wrestling. It was brutal.
Well, he did keep wrestling. He did almost nothing the rest of the match. He took like one spine buster, and then at the very end, Dean tagged him in to hit his giant top rope elbow, and he got the win. But yeah, that was that. The Outlaws bicker with the Dudleys. Say, you follow our lead, and the Dudleys say, no, you guys watch us and you learn. We can confirm the bus is still here. Okay, here's the match, and here's what it's building to.
It took me a while to figure out what the match was.
Yeah, me too.
I thought it was a four-way. Then I found out it was a tag match.
It's an 8-man tag match with the Hardys, Edge, and Christian on one side, and the New Age Outlaws and the Dudleys on the other side. So, okay, fine. 2 babyface tag teams against 2 heel tag teams. I gotcha. But at the pay-per-view in 6 days, it's the Hardys versus Edge and Christian, and the Dudleys versus the Outlaws. So
Someone with quite a sense of humor booked this match.
I guess. So this thing went like 10 minutes.
It was good.
For the first 9, it was really good.
It was
These guys
very
working
good
their asses off.
till it went off the rails.
Super hot crowd, and then, oh my God, what a clusterfuck unfolded before my eyes.
Well, first off, Jeff Hardy is getting all of the screams from the women, and then Edge tags in, gets all the screams from the women. Nobody screams for the men anymore.
No.
That's how few people we've got left here.
You've been on this lately.
Yeah, it's because it's just patently obvious. Like, why do people go to wrestling? Why do women go to wrestling? I mean, it seems patently obvious over the last 3 years that they're not going to watch other women wrestle.
Sure.
They used to go to watch the men. Now they're not even there anymore.
That's them.
They're fallen by the way. The big dog's gone and the women have left. It has happened. I don't know if that's the sole reason, but like the women's audience is very much down since the big dog left. So, can I recap this finish?
I wish somebody else would. Yes, please.
So, Bubba, everybody turns on everybody else. Bubba gets a chair and he hits Mr. Ass right in the head. Okay? So, Jeff goes up top because he's going to do a senton onto Billy Gunn. Bubba's standing there and he's holding his chair up celebrating because he hit Mr. Ass in the head. He gets yanked out of the ring, and in doing so, he drops the chair, and it literally lands right where Jeff is going to land. Edge is dead, but he sees that the chair is in the way, so he stops being dead long enough to pull the chair out of the way. Jeff flies off the top, and he hits a senton. He realizes he's on the wrong side, so he has to leap to the other side to cover Mr. Ass. Earl Hebner goes, 1, 2, Jeff gets yanked out of the ring. Edge leaps onto Billy Gunn. Earl counts 3 because 2 plus 1 is 3.
Hold on. You're right.
And Edge realizes 2 plus 1 is 3, but I only got 1 of those.
Sure.
So he tells Earl to count. Earl says, it's over. Earl goes over to the referee and he goes, Edge and Christian and the Hardys win. Guy rings the bell.
That's the end.
even at WCW's dumbest, okay, I've seen people not in the match get pinned, okay? I've seen referees do a count when the other guy wasn't even on him. But at least in both of those cases, the ref counted 3.
He didn't count 2 and then 1.
This ref, Earl fucking Hebner of all people, not Nick Patrick. Earl counted 2 for one guy, 1 for the other guy, and that equals 3, and the match is over. I've never seen that before. I've been watching for 30 years now. I've never seen that before. That was the finish.
I think Earl actually counted 3 before Edge even got there. I'm pretty sure Billy was just in a vacuum when the 3 count occurred.
It's still 2 plus 1.
It's not good.
So the 1 is no longer for Edge, it's for the air.
Yes, that is true. That is true.
Either way, this is stupid.
Oh, I agree.
I think
Jeff
Earl
was nowhere near this guy when he
out of the ring.
I think Earl thought he counted 3 when Jeff was on him.
I don't know what happened. But yes, this was going so well and then completely fell apart fast and decisively. Acolytes and Mark Henry versus the Hollies and Viscera.
Dude, Mark Henry and the Acolytes.
Yeah.
Versus Viscera and the Hollies. So, on SmackDown, Mae Young beat the Acolytes at poker, but then used the money to pay them to help Mark win matches because he's giving birth to her child, and I guess has to put the child through college.
Actually, she's giving birth to his
She's
child.
giving birth to his child.
You know, it's Raw in 2000 anything.
Who gives a shit? Yeah, he could give birth.
That would not be the most embarrassing thing they had Mark Henry do.
True.
So, yeah.
His character could give birth to a hand.
They really could.
Sure.
So, let's see. It's a short match. The Acolytes pin crash with a double powerbomb.
Yeah, in the middle of a nothing match on Raw, with Viscera and the Hollies versus Mark Henry and the Acolytes, Bradshaw decides, I'm going to give Crash Holly a back superplex off the top rope.
The very top rope.
Nearly killed both of us.
That's true. And
Dude.
not only that, when he did this, because Bradshaw will do like the middle rope back superplex all the time. So when JR said he did it off the top rope, I said, no, he didn't. I rewound to check. The camera angle was so terrible. It's my stance lately, these shitty camera angles. But yes, live, I thought it was off the middle rope, only on careful inspection. The second time to realize both his feet were in fact on the top rope. And then they did double powerbomb and pinned him. So the Acolytes leave, their job is done. Mae Young runs down and attacks Crash. So
Mae runs down to stomp a mud hole and Crash.
yeah.
She's pulling her kicks.
Yeah.
Because God knows, she might hurt him if she kicks him to the body. She can barely move.
Yeah.
Just fucking kick this poor
Anybody
guy.
worried when she was off balance every time?
He'll be okay.
So Holly clotheslines her. Viscera splashes her. It's a huge traumatic scene. Everyone rushes to her aid. The heels are laughing. And Lawler asks, like it's a joke, do you think she'll lose the baby?
They're teasing that the heels killed her unborn child.
Yes.
First off, can you imagine that storyline in 2019?
No.
Second, can you imagine them letting Mae Young in the ring
No.
at this age in 2019?
No.
Never.
Backstage, in what I can only assume is the world's largest ambulance, they have room not only for Mae, but also Moolah and Mark Henry. Test versus Chris Benoit. So doing this match, it goes like a minute. Eddie Guerrero comes out, and this is the first, they talked about it earlier, but I didn't realize how absurd this was until right here. Eddie has his gear on. He has his boots, he has his tights, he's wearing a t-shirt, and he has his arm in a sling still. He's going to do a match later. He's dressed to wrestle with his arm in a sling. He's carrying a weapon. When he came back out with it later, I determined it was a giant Allen wrench, as far as I can tell.
It's a big-ass pipe.
You know what an Allen wrench is.
Yeah. I don't know why you need one this big. That's what it looked like.
That's a big-ass Allen.
Yes.
To be wrenched.
So, Eddie gets in the apron.
I was so mad.
No, I'm not leaving anything out like a distraction spot or a ref bump. Eddie climbs up to the apron. He pulls Benoit off of Test's shoulders. He hits Test with the Allen wrench. And Benoit hits the headbutt and pins him. And the announcers are like, he was on the apron.
It's not only that. He's on the apron and he's trying to get a hold of Benoit's feet because Test has done the pump handle part of a pump handle slam.
Sure.
He can't reach him.
Nope. We got one arm.
So he's reaching and reaching and reaching and reaching, and finally he pulls him towards them and he whacks the guy with the deal, and I'm like, where the fuck is the ref? Because I can't see the ref, all right?
Yeah.
So they suddenly cut to a long shot, and the ref's standing right there looking at him.
Just standing there. This is not a good night for the refs on Raw.
Is this not a fucking disqualification?
I don't know.
Benoit hits the headbutt, and that was it. Now, aside from this stupid fucking finish, this was Test's best match in forever.
Well, yeah, he's in there with Benoit.
He came in there trying to be all aggressive. Like,
Sure.
bad move, dude. Well, Benoit beat the shit out of him.
Yeah. Rikishi versus Eddie Guerrero in a no DQ match. Rikishi comes out. He has 3 crutches taped together to support his massive weight. Radicals are cackling at this backstage. Eddie comes out. He still has his Allen wrench and the microphone. Says Rikishi is not looking too cool. Says he heard himself dancing, maybe doing the bump. And he gets in the ring and he turns his back and Rikishi just whacks him with his mega crutch and pins him with a bonsai splash. And Eddie, God bless him. Eddie's only job here was to turn his back, get hit with a crutch, and take the splash. And Rikishi does the bonsai splash. So he's sitting on Eddie's chest. Eddie sells this by doing a sit-up and burying his face deep into Rikishi's crotch. Just to make himself the biggest dummy in the world. The biggest fool you've ever seen. And he's trying to sell this, and he forgets he has to get his shoulders down. So he leans back quickly so the ref can count 3. I howled.
All I know is that, well, a few things. First off, I remembered when the Radicals debuted and lost all their matches on SmackDown. I forgot about this.
Yeah, we keep on losing.
What a fucking burial of Eddie Guerrero. He could not have looked like a bigger geek than he did here. Radicals beat the hell out of Rikishi, but because it's 2000 and not 2019, he's got a bunch of friends.
Yes.
They all run down to make the save for the guy. And the place went crazy when Rikishi danced. So overall, a thumbs up segment here.
I noticed Rikishi putting Eddie's arm on his chest, so when he
He was attacking the bad arm.
Yeah.
Psychology.
Right.
Michael Cole is asking Cactus about the bus ride on SmackDown. Cactus has him lay down to confirm it's scary to have Jack standing over you, threatening to drop an elbow. He promises he will do an elbow off the cage and reminds us all he has to win on Sunday or he's done. Taz is putting on wrist tape.
Oh my god, Big Boss Man and Taz. Taz has him in the Taz mission. The Boss Man grabs his nightstick. He starts hitting the dude in the head with his nightstick.
Kinda.
Right in front of the referee.
Yeah.
The ref's just standing there watching. And they sent down Albert to make sure that Taz looked as tiny as possible.
What a rib on Taz.
They lay him out, double team him. This sucked in every way.
What a complete rib on Taz. First, when he comes out with Bossman, I'm like, okay, clearly they've given up on Taz and they just want to make him look like a fool. We'll put him in somewhere who's too big for half his offense.
He had to jump up in the air to throw a punch at his head.
Yeah. Then they throw in Albert, who's even bigger.
Right.
They're just trying to expose their own guy. And yes, he's sitting there with a nightstick, and the ref calls the bell, and the announcer is saying, "What for? What's he doing?" And that's it. Yeah, this is garbage.
Yeah. To be fair, Taz is short.
I realize he's short, but the idea is when you've signed a guy, you want to profit off him.
Understood.
You highlight his strengths and hide his weaknesses, not the other way around. And it would be one thing, by the way, if he was lazy, you wanted to teach him to work. He's not going to get any taller.
You know, Dave was mentioning last night, he was going on about how they never let Ricochet in the ring with Lashley. And they actually did. I guess he forgot about it. It was during the heat, but I mean, maybe they didn't want him in the ring with Lashley because they didn't want you to see how short he was. Mm-hmm. You put him in there with Leo Rush, he looks like a big dude.
Yes.
I don't know. Putting Taz in there with fucking Albert.
Why'd they put Leo with Lashley?
Well, because Leo's gimmick is he's small.
Yeah, I see.
Well, he is. Again. Triple H, X-Pac, and Big Show versus Kane, Cactus Jack, and The Rock. They're doing this great trios match main event. When the people have nostalgia for the Attitude Era at shit like this. Everyone's just working their ass off, brawling everywhere. The whole place is going crazy. Everyone comes off like a star. And then the Rock gets the hot tag. He's about to do the people's elbow. He gets cut off for the second heat segment. And then when he goes to give the hot tag to Cactus Jack, 6 days before Cactus Jack goes into Hell in a Cell, Cactus gets the hot tag, and the crowd gets colder.
Well, they'd seen Cactus in there forever, and he tagged The Rock, and they were very excited for that.
Yeah.
and they thought they were going to the finish, and then they just got heat again and tagged Cactus back in. They didn't even tag Kane back in.
No.
So, maybe, Vinny, it's because the fucking guy has zero credibility right now.
Well, it's funny you should mention that, Brian.
Yeah, didn't I bring this up weeks ago and you fuckers argued with me?
Well, I'll be honest, I figured at some point he would regain some of
I
that credibility.
told you. No, he never did.
Well, Brian, a funny thing, he got his hands on the fire extinguisher, but then Hunter grabbed it and hit him and pinned him.
Yes.
He's buried every week.
Every fucking week. And you know what? I'm a big fan of Triple H. I think he's doing great things with NXT. I can't wait for Vince to take over the XFL and get the fuck out of here and let Hunter take over, okay? But dude, you know that if Hunter was feuding with Finn Balor, and they were leading towards a retirement match where Finn Balor was going to retire Triple H.
Yes.
And they were going to go for 4 months leading to this. You're telling me that not one time Triple H is going to get a win over Finn Balor? Are you fucking out of your mind?
I strongly suspect he would.
Of course he would. Cactus got nothing. And you know why it makes me mad? Because then they act like stupid, okay? So Cactus gets beaten right here, all right? And then everybody starts brawling, and Cactus gets mad. And he starts chasing Triple H. Triple H runs away. I'm like, what the fuck are you running away from? You beat this guy every goddamn time you've been in the ring together.
Yeah.
He hasn't gotten anything on you.
No.
He hasn't got anything on you when he has a sock on his hand.
No.
He's got nothing on you when he's got a book in his hand. He's got nothing on you when he's got his flannel on. Every incarnation of Cactus Jack, you have beaten and humiliated. Why are you running? Oh, he runs away. Oh, I'm so scared. And Cactus gets this big metal gimmick and he puts it through the window of the bus. And I'm like, wow, you beat up a bus. Like, get my cable bill for Sunday.
Yes.
I just couldn't even, I mean, I couldn't believe it because I watched it the original time and I fucking remember it. But even watching it back, it's like, can you imagine this?
Yeah. In hindsight, they very clearly dropped the ball. I can't imagine anyone watching Raw at the time thinking Cactus Jack had a snowball's chance in hell of winning the pay-per-view. And it turns out he didn't. So I guess that was their mission. Yeah, it was not a bad show, but I was just baffled by that finish. There's 6 dudes in the ring.
So can we go back 4 weeks to when I said that he should have gotten that win on Raw?
Brian, at some point, he should have gotten a win on Raw.
Thank you. And fuck, I mean, yeah, I understand he's on his way out and they're trying to make Hunter a star. But like, Hunter...
He's winning at the end.
Hunter idolizes Ric Flair, okay? Fucking, where was Ric Flair? I know he's on the other show. But like, to call the guy up and say, if you give Cactus 0 credibility, who have you beaten in that retirement match? Nobody. You beat a guy in a flannel. Like, give him a win over you, make him look like a threat, and then you fucking beat him and retire him and you beat somebody. You ended a main event big-time guy's career. Instead, you beat a guy that can't catch a win. You can't catch a win in a 6-man with a fire extinguisher.
You beat a charity case.
And that's what it is.
Beat a feel-good story. But yes.
And you know what else is funny about it? If Hunter was booking this today, and there was someone else in the role of Hunter, I promise you, Hunter would have done a job in this feud.
Well, Brian, do you have my music ready?
I think so. I'm all depressed.
I understand, actually. I sympathize. The finishes on this show were pin after belt shot, clean pin, pin by the illegal man after he nearly knocked himself out, pin after partners kept turning on each other and the ref counted a pin that didn't happen, clean pin, pin after interference, pin after weapon shot in no DQ match, DQ due to weapon shot, pin after weapon shot.
Good job.
Why, thank you.
Let's talk about this Nitro show. What a weird show.
WCW Monday Nitro number 231, also February 21st of the year 2000.
Boy, when this show opened, I remembered. This was the day after Super Brawl 2000, where unannounced, as a complete surprise, who should show up at WCW Super Brawl but James fucking Brown?
Yeah. The actual James Brown.
Excuse me, you say. James Brown? The godfather of soul?
The hardest working man in show business.
He appeared on Super Brawl unannounced. I hate this company.
I'm sure they got him for free.
Well,
They had been building up forever. That Shat, he always promised that someday James Brown was going to show up. A lot of this was on, like, Thunder. But he kept saying he was going to be here. And nobody believed the Shat. They thought he was full of Shat. And then all of a sudden one day, there's James Brown. They spent all that money to throw him on a show that nobody was going to buy. I don't know how many people would have bought it if you would have advertised James Brown, but why not?
hey, they didn't even advertise a segment with the cat.
No.
That's true.
I had no idea the cat was going to be on the show. If they had the cat out there promising to deliver James Brown to the pay-per-view, and the answer said, folks, he's full of it, don't believe him, that would still be better. I had no idea any of this was going to happen. So
Here's the results. I'm just going to throw out the results for everybody.
are you doing the actual results or what you got from this recap?
No, you can do the recap, then I'll do the results.
I'll do the recap. This is what I got out of their recap package. Prince Iakea is now the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea, is now the Cruiserweight Champion. Brian Knobbs is the Hardcore Champion. The Wall beat the Demon. Tank beat Big Al. Big T beat Booker, I believe, with Swole debuting as the New Harlem Heat.
It's not Swole, but yes.
My mistake. There was a stretcher match. I don't know who won. The Maestro was there. He passed out when James Brown arrived. Here I wrote, based on what I saw in this recap package, Dustin Rhodes screws Terry Funk.
Yes.
Okay. Hulk Hogan beat Lex Luger, and then Sid beat Jarrett and Hall in a three-way with like 1,000 ref bumps.
It's a pretty good video package, apparently.
I guess I got more than because I was still confused. Those were all best guesses.
All right, so the results were the artist beat Lash LaRue for the WCW Cruiserweight title. Knobbs beat Bam Bam Bigelow to win the Hardcore title. 3 Count beat Norman Smiley in a handicap match. The Wall beat The Demon, who last week got stuck in his casket because the hydraulics didn't work. Tank Abbott beat Big Al and then legit pulled a switchblade on him in an unplanned spot.
Yeah. You remember this?
At which point the announcers had to hurriedly say, I believe he's going to give him a haircut, and they cut away. They didn't know what to do. Big T beat Booker T. I'm sorry, I apologize. Big T beat Booker and retained the rights to the letter T. Billy Kidman beat Vampiro. The Mamalukes beat David Flair and Crowbar in a stretcher match. Ric Flair beat Terry Funk. Hulk Hogan beat The Total Package. And Sid beat Scott Hall and Jeff Jarrett. Yes, there were 11 matches on a show that went 2 hours and 45 minutes. So for the money that you paid for this, you got a bunch of matches lasting between 3 minutes and 37 seconds. And a whopping 15 minutes for the Ric Flair-Terry Funk match.
And James Brown.
And James Brown. So here on Nitro, Gene is about to introduce somebody for an interview, but then he is surprised when Lex Luger's music plays. Lex runs down Hogan. He's all serious, angry Lex now, even though he lost the night before.
I beat the crap out of Hogan for 15 minutes,
Yeah.
he said.
You had Jimmy Hart and Sting running interference for you and whatever.
It went 8.
Yeah. Next time he says Hogan won't get lucky, and at this point Hulk Hogan interrupts. He runs down Lex with the usual. Says, if you're so worried about Jimmy Hart beating you up, don't worry. I have a steel cage prepared, so it'll just be you and me later on. Now, Hogan leaves, and Lex leaves, but they don't do a commercial. Instead, Jarrett comes out for another promo. He's whining about being screwed, at the same time claiming he is the chosen one. This does not make sense. Claims he has a contract with a one-on-one rematch with Sid. You name the time, he says. I'll name the place.
That doesn't make sense.
No.
I should mention, by the way, that before this, they had a video package where he was in Nash's office and he KO'd him with a guitar. Okay? So he comes out here and he says, Nash's signature is on this rematch paper right here. The penmanship is sloppy, he says, but that's what happens when you get whacked with a guitar. So he's admitting on national television that he knocked out Kevin Nash, put a pen in his dead hands,
Yeah, sure.
sign this fucking contract. And that's how he's getting a rematch.
I question the competence of WCW's legal department here.
And then he promises to unleash the Harris twins and says they're going to be dropping a lot of H-bombs tonight.
Right.
Halcyons.
Sid arrives at the building. Billy Kidman and Tori must act.
God damn.
Kidman's going through his suitcase, tossing gear everywhere. I can't find my friggin' camera.
Where's my friggin' camera?
Tori says, maybe somebody stole it.
That was too good.
Probably. Kidman says, I hope not. We better get to the match. Man! And he just walks off. You hear, hey, you steal my camera?
TMZ would have a field day with that camera.
I bet they would, actually. Sure.
Oh my God. You want to talk about bad acting? Is walking backstage in like overalls and I don't even know what else.
Sure.
And she's talking to herself.
Yeah.
She goes, keep in mind we're 20 minutes into the show.
Yes.
She says, who am I working tonight? I'm thinking, you're in the opener. Oh, you were late. No. Turns out she looks at the little thing and she goes,
Little thing. There's
a giant whiteboard.
It's not this. This is how you find out you're wrestling in Nitro, apparently. You go just in the middle of a random point in the parking lot or the garage. There's a whiteboard with a bunch of matches written on it. That's how you find out how you booked.
She looks at it, she goes,
no indie show I've ever been has been this rinky-dink. At least they had a notepad and a pen, so it couldn't be altered later.
Drive to every building, just in case.
Yes.
They put you on the whiteboard.
Buy a ticket to check the whiteboard.
She looks on the whiteboard and says, I'm not working. Why do they keep stifling my career?
Why do they keep stifling my career?
It's Oklahoma, that piece of crap. She starts kicking the sign, and she goes, I want a woman's division! Like you were born too early. You'd have it today.
Oh, God.
Stephanie hadn't invented it yet.
This was awful. Kidman versus Lash LaRue. It went 30 seconds. In that 30 seconds, Kidman, I think, broke his neck taking head scissors.
Yeah, he did.
And Harris's attack for the DQ. Great. We waited 20 minutes for that match, by the way.
Yeah.
Someone has Kidman's camera, and they are filming Buff Bagwell hitting on Symphony. She flat turns him down, no interest whatsoever. And he accepts this, but he also warns her to keep her mouth shut. He can't have word about this getting out.
You know that Buff Bagwell is a babyface?
Yeah.
He could not have looked like a bigger geek.
Geek slash creep slash.
He's supposed to be a top babyface that the women all love because he's
Right.
buff and he's a stuff. He hits on Symphony. She shoots his ass down, embarrasses him.
Yeah.
Oh, no one will ever know about this, he says.
Well, he menaces her. He intimidates her.
Yeah.
Don't you keep your mouth shut about this. Dude. No wonder she turned it down. You're a dick. Vampiro versus Fit Finley. Best spot I ever seen in this match. Finley at this point is wrestling in like a camo vest. So he's in there with Vampiro, and Vampiro rears back and hits a great big chop. Slap to the chest. And Finley says, you little bastard, I can take that. Let me see what you got. And he unzips the chest and holds it open. So Vampiro says, okay. Hits him with an even bigger chop. And Finley screams and zips the chest back up. The vest back up. That was funny. So during this match, it is announced that Hogan versus Luger is now a last man standing cage match.
You got that right.
I guess.
They
Keep in
basically,
mind, there's no ref in the cage.
Yeah.
they basically said it's escape the cage
It's
rule.
escape the cage, yes.
But that's what they claim. Anyway, here's the finish. Finley runs from the corner. Vampiro dodges. Finley hits the post. Vampiro schoolboys him and pins him.
Yep.
And then Fit attacks him and tombstones him.
What was the point of any of this?
I wrote pointless.
It was absolutely pointless.
In what must have been the lowest point of his professional wrestling career, Buff Bagwell is backstage getting his ass kicked by the Maestro.
Maestro's in the mount, raining down punches.
Buff is helpless.
Bagwell can't do anything. They send out the geese to pull him apart, and then Maestro does his best Ric Flair impression. He's ready for a match later on tonight. This was the second most embarrassing moment of Bagwell's career. Getting shot down by Symphony was number one.
That's true. That
This
happened
is
as
number
well.
two. And he's the baby face.
Yeah.
I was cheering for the Maestro.
I have a lot of things to say about the Maestro. La Parka is reading the newspaper backstage. Medusa interrupts him, whispers in her ear. He replies, Si, senorita. And she leaves, and he shrugs, and that's it. Hey, remember the Nitro Girls broke up? It was like a month-long thing.
Right, yeah.
They're back together now.
Some of them like each other, some of them don't.
They
So.
dance. They were separated, so maybe they have one crew in the ring and one crew up at the stage. Gene interviews Booker, who says he's lost the tea and the music and the flames, but he knows all of this, so he's going to fight on it anyway. So it's announced that Booker will face Big Vito. But then Disco comes out and says, well, it turns out they made it Booker against me, the manager of champions. But instead, I think it should be Booker versus both Mamalukes in a handicap match with the tag team titles on the line.
So the Mamalukes hear this, and they're unhappy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be.
They're getting a 2-on-1 match against one man.
Yes.
And they're upset about this.
Well, they had nothing to gain.
Well, the tag team.
Yeah, they beat the hell out of this guy. It's what they have to gain. Vito is wearing his goddamn belt during this match again.
Yes.
Okay. I got a love-hate relationship with this Vito. He's a good worker, he's a very good promo, and he's a goddamn idiot. What is he doing out there with this belt on? He never sells anything.
No.
He's out there, he doesn't sell unless he absolutely positively asks to.
Yeah.
I guess he's not a good worker then. His stuff looks good.
Neither is Johnny the Bull, who fucked up a bookend here.
Yeah, but at least last week when they got their asses handed to them, Johnny the Bull sold when he was on the stretcher.
Fair enough.
Unlike Vito, who leaped off the stretcher selling nothings.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So Booker goes to the bookend, and Johnny just falls down, and Booker looks at him, and just goes, meh. Turns to Vito to do something. So he kicks both their asses. This is why they were unhappy, Brian. They knew Booker would beat him up. And finally, Disco attacks with a DQ.
Ah, see, they kept their titles. What are they so mad about?
Well, maybe they're mad they knew the Harrises would come out and kill everybody.
Hey, I thought this match was good while it lasted.
Sure. It was fun. Gene interviews Terry Funk and Dustin Rhodes, confusing the hell out of me. Because I could have sworn in the opening package they showed Dustin Rhodes turning on Terry. Am I wrong? Am I crazy?
Sounds like it to me.
So Terry says this kid's 10 times tougher than his daddy ever was. And Dustin starts running down the Harrises, the two big bald-headed bastards, whatever he said. And Gene took offense at this. Bald.
So in the recap here, at least on Wikipedia, there's no mention whatsoever of Dustin.
Either I'm an idiot or their video package sucked. Or both.
It could be both, yeah.
Could be both. So they go from Dustin and Funk doing this promo. The announcers flap their gums for a while, and they cut backstage, and there's Sid in a room by himself on a chair. He just starts cackling.
Yeah.
And he screams, I've got plenty to say! And he doesn't say anything. And they go to commercial.
A little weird.
Every Sid segment feels like I'm missing something. Something's been filmed out of order or out of the
It's
show.
not you. You ever think of that? Maybe it's not you.
Gene interviews the new Harlem Heat.
What was Big T wearing?
I'll tell you, he was wearing a salmon pink sweatsuit.
It looked like, you remember the workout movies with, Let's Get Physical? It looked like something one of the girls was
Olivia
wearing.
Newton-John.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Dating myself.
So this big dude, by the way, was not swole.
Okay.
It was the former 4x4.
See, I thought 4x4 was swole, so
No, those
these are all the same dude.
Those are different men.
Different giant men.
Yes.
Yeah. So Stevie says Booker knows this man, that his name is Cassius. Definitely not Ono, if you're wondering. Different man. The artist formerly known as Prince Iaukea versus La Parka with Oklahoma on commentary. Yes, Oklahoma on commentary for no reason other than, I guess he knew what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So Parker comes out to challenge for the Cruiserweight title.
Sure.
Parker's looking tiny this week, except as they noted, the pectoral region.
Yeah. Little busty LaParca.
I did laugh when Oklahoma says, looks like he's got a great bench press.
So Iaukea is very, very confused. Oklahoma hits the ring, tears off LaParca's mask. Shock of shocks, it's Medusa. At this point, the real LaParca hits Oklahoma with a chair. The artist hits LaParca with a chair and pins him with a diving DDT. What the hell was this?
I wrote just a bunch of bullshit.
Sure.
That's literally my recap of this segment here.
Jeff Jarrett and the Harrises walk. Terry Funk and Dustin Rhodes walk. Ric Flair cuts a promo on behalf of Lex Luger and his arms.
Yeah, Luger and Liz are back there, and Flair's randomly with them now. And the audio is horrible.
Yeah.
They're loading the cage match tonight. Flair's ranting and raving. He's cutting the promo for Luger. He's out of his mind, and he's in the middle of a sentence, and they cut away to the Harris brothers heading to the ring.
Yeah.
They cut away from Ric Flair doing a promo.
Well, here's what I think happened. The gimmick is Flair is supposed to do all the talking for Lex. Lex is standing there. He's got the cables just doing the bicep curls. So Flair's supposed to do all the talking. And as Flair is ranting, he loses his mind and says, "Tell him, package." And Lex just looks at him and keeps on doing curls. And Flair says, "Show him, package." And he keeps on going. So I think they gave Flair the cue to wrap it up. But he screwed up his line and then just kept barreling through.
I see. Well, it's very important that we went to the ring for the Harris brothers
This is
versus Terry Funk
critical.
and Dustin Rhodes. They beat the fuck out of Funk for an hour again, just like last week. They just beat him and 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 beat him. There was a ton of heat. And every time Terry Funk fired up, dude, you talk about Raw. This crowd here was 1,000 times better than Raw on Monday. And this place is dying.
Yeah.
So Jared goes for the guitar. There's a bunch of shit that happens.
No, I'm going to detail this.
Okay.
Jarrett, who's been doing commentary, he distracts Funk with the guitar. This brings out Sid. This causes Jeff Jarrett to hit the bell ringer with the guitar and run away. Sid gives chase. Dustin tags in, DDT's Funk. Jarrett runs into a car and drives away. We go back to the ring where Dustin's hitting Funk with a chair. We go back to the garage where Sid is saying, "Damn!" Tony Schiavone screams, "Two things going on at once," and he is not wrong. Horrible television.
It was a mess. Did we add, by the way, that Dustin was knocked off the apron, Funk put the spinning toe hold on the Harris brother, and the Harris tapped, and that idiot Nick Patrick didn't see it somehow?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
News to me.
there was a foot race, and Sid's a softball player, so, I mean, he moved all right, all things considered.
Sure.
And Jared flees in a limo, and Sid did, in fact, yell, "Damn!" And then there was, in fact, two things going on at once, and it was a mess. And then somebody holds up a sign and says, "What decade is this?" But there's more.
There is more. Actually, before we go to the next thing, I do want to add that as they go to break, Dustin is still beating on Funk. Funk's laying
We haven't even
down-
got there yet.
All right, no.
Dustin turned on Funk. That's the important part of this story.
Well, I mentioned it when it happened.
And he kills him with unprotected chair shots to the head.
Yeah, quite a few.
Mark Mann jokes, Funk might not be able to find his way home tonight.
Ah.
And then he got his head rammed into a chair repeatedly. And
Well, when you say that, he's down on the ground.
yeah, he was ramming his own head.
Yes.
To make it look
Dustin
real.
is throwing punches, and Funk is selling the punches by banging his head into the chair. Right. It still sucked, but that was funny. All right. We go to break, finally. We come back. We have a Buff promo. One thing is taken out of context, he says, and the boys stir it up. It's true. Again, he's the babyface.
Yeah.
We saw the video, dude. It's not being taken out of context. I think he said something about this happened before. He almost got caught before. A reference to Kimberly.
Yeah, exactly.
So anyway, says if the Maestro pushes his buttons, he'll show him how rough Buff can get.
The symphony or with the maestro?
I guess I'll have to show us.
Maestro, he said very specifically, "I'm Buff, I'm the stuff, I will show the Maestro how rough I can get."
Terry Funk is loaded into an ambulance. Dustin pulls him out and then steals the ambulance. What a dick move.
That's against the law.
It is.
I'm sure it is.
All right, this has been a show in hindsight. It's even worse than I realized at the time. But as I like to say, I am a fair man. And when something great happens,
Sid's promo.
Sid's promo here. Jesus, this was awesome. Says, yeah, I'll grant Jared a one-on-one match. I think it should be at Uncensored 2000. I like Jared. He's clever. He keeps me on my toes.
He's clever.
He's smarter than Psycho Sid. But you can never be the master of the master and the ruler of the world. I will see you in hell, Jeff Jarrett. And hell will be at Uncensored 2000.
That was awesome.
God, this is great.
He's a very talented
This
talker.
was outstanding.
Yes, Hall of Awesome.
Yes. Kidman and Booker are being held back. They're trying to get at the Harrises. Buff is backstage just strutting. Gene interviews Flair.
Another random Flair promo.
Yes.
He's in there. He says, Dustin did what was right tonight. I'm sick of you, Gene. You and everybody else kissing Hogan's ass. He's never going to run wild again after tonight. And here's the point of all of this. Flair wants to get the fuck out of here. He hates this company, okay? They're giving him his lines. He's on television. He's doing his lines. But he's being a parody of himself.
Yeah.
Like, he's totally over the top. He's just fucking around. Gene's trying so hard not to laugh at the end of this thing. And they cut away.
He's Lex Luger's mouthpiece now. He's Lex's manager, effectively. He says that the package will tear Hogan apart tonight. Get him, package. Package isn't even there.
No, of course not.
All right, it's time to talk about my new favorite terrible wrestler. The best bad wrestler I ever saw this week. Buff Bagwell Maestro.
The Maestro's not that bad.
So Buff comes out. He's Buff Bagwell. The Maestro's music starts to play. It is soft piano music. I'm pretty sure it's Paul Orndorff's Mr. Wonderful theme just on the piano. There's bubbles falling from the ceiling. And out comes the Maestro full of rage.
He's mad.
He's mad and he's swatting
Bagwell
away,
hit
swatting
on
away
his
the
woman.
bubbles. He's tearing the cape off, sneering. He is in fact swatting the bubbles away. As soon as I was about to
How
write,
can you call him a bad wrestler? He's doing everything right, Vinny.
I was about to write how he's raising these stories of the bubbles, and I swear to God, Tony says he is storming through the bubbles to get to the ring to Buff Bagwell.
Vinny, I've seen Ronda Rousey get her ass kicked with a fucking kendo stick for 20 minutes and come out the next night smiling. The Maestro did what was right.
I'll say he did.
This fucker hit on his woman, and he's mad.
So
These stupid bubbles. Get these goddamn bubbles out of here. I want to beat this guy's ass. Runs down to the ring, house of fire.
he leaps into Buff. They're brawling. They hit about. So Bagwell takes over, and Bagwell, the babyface, decides the middle of the match now is a good time to hit on Symphony again.
Vinny, this is not the Maestro's fault. Do you understand?
Hey,
No, it's not. It's Symphony's fault.
I don't care. I'm just happy it happened. Listen, so Buff's hitting on Symphony. Buff's back to the Maestro. The Maestro decides, I'm going to charge. Now, I didn't know there were more than one way to charge somebody. I thought you would just run at them. Now, after this happened,
He's mad.
after this happened, I tried to think of different ways. Maybe in a three-point stance like a football player.
Are you crazy?
Maybe you rear back like Wile E. Coyote and you run.
This ain't no cartoon.
Oh, I beg to differ.
It's not supposed to be.
Here is what the Maestro did. Mr. Producer, could you pan out, please, on me? Zoom out on me so we get a wide shot. I apologize for those of you who are not video customers, but it's critical that I demonstrate what happened here with the Maestro. No, that's my belly. Okay.
It's hard to miss that.
The Maestro's, he's like selling, and he gets up, and he sees Buff, and I swear to God, he goes, "Brrr," and he runs. He runs. He lifts his hands in the air, his eyes bug out, and he growls, "Brrr," and he roars, "Brrr," and he runs. I have only in my life ever seen one humanoid ever charged like this. It was Blackula in Scream, Blackula Scream, bad special effect. This is the Maestro actually doing this. Now, that's how he starts the charge. I'm done now. You can zoom back in. Thank you. I appreciate the extra work. We'll throw a little extra in your check this week.
It's going to be for Vinny's paycheck for missing Nitro last week.
That's right. That's right. So now he's charging. Now here's the idea. He's going to charge, and Buff will dodge, so the Maestro will wipe out Symphony. Okay? So he charges. Buff steps to the Maestro's left, but Symphony steps to the Maestro's right. So now the Maestro has to change direction. He must zig.
That's not even the whole problem.
Okay?
All Symphony had to do was say move at the right time.
Yes.
Okay? The moment Maestro raises his arms in the air, she goes, Buff, move. And he gets out of the way. So now there's no Buff. But the Maestro still has to run and miss Buff.
Yes.
So he just runs like a crazy man for an hour. Fucking runs into Symphony.
Well,
Which is supposed to be an accident.
Yes.
But it is not, because Symphony fucked it up.
Symphony fucked it up by stepping to her left, so Maestro just stepped to her right. Then she stepped back to her right. She was actually trying to dodge him. He targeted her like a linebacker chasing a running back in the open field. And I guess he is kind of athletic because he did tackle her in the end.
Yeah?
I'm laughing. There is more to come. So this match goes on for a while. The cat comes out on stage.
Oh, fuck this. He comes out and he goes, Maestro, a bet is a bet. And Tony Schiavone says, well, we won't forget the bet.
I forgot the
I was
bet.
like, what the fuck is the bet? I don't even know what the bet is.
Yeah.
Isn't that the announcer's job to tell me what the bet is?
One would think.
He says, we won't forget. What about me?
So, regardless, as the cat is distracted Maestro, Buff hits the blockbuster and wins. Maestro no-sells this because he's angry at the cat. And the cat, I guess in reference to the bet, says, I have new music for you. Because whatever bet they had,
Apparently the bet was that if Shat showed up with James Brown, Maestro would have to use whatever music Shat wanted him to use.
I see.
Which I think is 3 Counts music.
Yeah.
But whatever it was, they couldn't use it.
Yeah.
So they played just some normal song. Maestro is furious.
Maestro, if any of you want to know what I look like when I have a freak out on Michael Cole or Kevin Dunn, or when I have to go for a walk, I do exactly what the Maestro did here. This is why the Maestro is my favorite wrestler, my favorite bad wrestler. I identify with the Maestro. The Maestro speaks for me. His freak out, his hands shake, his eyes bug out, his head zips back and forth. He starts running around, kicking all the ropes, and finally attacking the referee with rage. I can't do it justice. It's awesome. I watched it 20 times in a row. I gift it. I shared it. I'll put it in the thread. I love the Maestro. Unironically.
He's pretty great.
He's got the worst physique in the show. He's very...
Oh, are you kidding me? He ain't got the worst physique on the show. Not even
Big T.
close. Fucking Big
There
T.
is Big T.
Yeah, there's a lot of other people like that.
Okay, he has a below-average physique.
Okay, I'll take
He's
that.
a below-average athlete based on the Nitro roster. But he's the best. He's just the best. And I want the Maestro to be on TV every week now. The Wall is walking. Sid, I guess in pursuit of Jarrett 20 minutes after the fact, like zips into his limo, says, let's go! And the limo takes off. We get clips from WCW Saturday Night,
Yes.
where Hacksaw Jim Duggan has found the TV title in the trash. He cuts a promo on the Prima Donna Millionaires. And it's in the trash. This belt has 20 years of history, he says. That's longer than all these fancy Dan shows have been around.
Yeah, he's on a show that's been around way longer than 20 years, I might add.
Yes. He dares anyone to come take his belt, and believe you me, anyone answered.
Yeah.
Robert Gibson.
Of the Rock and Roll Express.
In the year 2000.
Yeah. He hasn't aged in 19 years.
No, I guess not. He comes out. They probably had a pretty good match, I bet.
I'm sure they did.
Hacksaw pinned him with a knee drop. This brings out William Regal, who says, I have won the TV title 4 times. I am the greatest TV champion of all time. You, Hacksaw Duggan, are a disgrace to that belt. And if I can't beat you for that, I will retire from WCW. So Hacksaw's Hunter, and Regal is Cactus. And
Yeah,
if I can't beat him for the title, I'll retire.
Yeah.
And
Allow me.
They actually plugged a match for Saturday night.
Yeah, great.
Okay.
On Nitro.
You numbskulls weren't here this week, and you didn't even watch it, Vinny. So, they have been building up this fucking wall for about however long it took to build the Great Wall in China.
Sure.
Years, decades. He beats everybody.
Sure does.
Like, why is the fucking wall beating everybody? And I believe it was you that said, well, they must be building him up for
Hogan needs a big guy to fight.
Well, last week on WWE.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does.
And what's funny about it is, it happens way more today than it happened back then when this goddamn company was dying. This was like an aberration.
Yeah.
That's why I got mad. Then I thought about it. I'm like, that was an aberration back then? That's a weekly occurrence now. They fucking beat Braun. Think about this. It was Braun Strowman against Brock Lesnar scheduled for Royal Rumble.
Yes, Brian.
In a big-ass dome.
Yeah.
Okay. So, at some point in, like, December, Vince decided, God damn, I don't want to beat Strowman again. Put Finn in there. So, they made the decision to take Braun out of the match. But because it's the Royal Rumble, they continued advertising him because they had to sell 40,000 tickets. And then at the last minute, they took him out of the match. They put Finn in. Why? Let's rewind. Because Vince didn't want to beat the guy. So on fucking Sunday, Braun Strowman goes out there and gets beaten by Baron Corbin.
Right.
Okay. It's like, I was so mad about this Sunday. Well, imagine my fury the next night when they do Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin in a rematch,
Tables match.
and Braun beats Baron Corbin.
Right.
What?
Well, it's important that everyone's a loser.
Fucking A. Is wrestling that hard?
Yes.
That's a rhetorical question. The answer is no, it's not that hard. But why does it have to be so dumb? Why does it have to be so dumb all the time?
Well, the only thing I can add to all this is there's a point here where the wall charges, and Bam Bam ducks and pulls down the top rope, and wall tumbles to the floor. And Tony Schiavone described this as a thinking man's maneuver. Get out of the way. I guess it's something a thinking.
He's still
maneuver.
better commentary than anybody on the main shows
Of
right
course
now.
he is. Of course he is. But I'm trying to
It is worst period.
trying to entertain people. Hogan is backstage, slamming his cast into a fence and shouting Lex Luger's name.
I laughed.
Ric Flair gives David Flair and Arn Anderson a lecture, tells them to do what he says and get their act together, and they reacted like they would not do what they said, do what he said, or get their act together. Let's see. We have a Hogan promo.
Hogan does his promo. They do the old WWE deal. Let's leave the camera on him for an awkwardly long amount of time.
Yes.
And they leave it on him so long that he presumes there's no way we're still live. And he just breaks character. And then they cut away.
What you gonna do when I kick your ass?
Yep.
I laughed almost as hard at that as it did at the night.
I watch this show and I see these things, and I go, fucking WCW. That's what I used to say. But now I see all of these things on Raw.
Flair and Lex find Jimmy Hart and beat him up.
They beat him up with popcorn.
Ric Flair, well, they did.
They attacked him with popcorn, Vinny.
Yeah, that happened. I can't deny that happened. But they did a lot of other things to him as well. Now, Ric Flair is however many a dozen-time world champion by this point, and not that long ago. 2 years ago, I think he was a world champion, maybe 3. Lex Luger is a 275-pound bodybuilder, also a former world champion. Jimmy Hart is, I think at this point, a senior citizen, maybe 150 pounds. He's getting beat up by these two professional warriors. They're destroying him. And they beat him, and they beat him, and they go to the ringside. There's an arena full of people. The announcers are there, security is there, refs are there. They all just watch as they beat him, and they beat him, and they beat him, and they go to commercial, and they come back. They're still beating him.
Yes, they are.
How did he survive? He just stomped him and stomped him and stomped him and stomped him and stomped him. Finally, Hogan makes a save because his music plays. He runs out, he beats up Flair and Luger, throws Luger into the cage, and the match finally begins. It is two old men who can barely move, doing a lot of choking and stomping and clubbering.
This is not good.
Hogan does the spot where he does an elbow smash and rolls up to his feet and does another one, does like 3 in a row. I never was particularly impressed by it until I saw Lex Luger try to do it here. And as well, Hogan's a lot better than I knew. That's a lot harder than I thought it was, apparently. So, Lex puts on the torture rack. He thinks Hogan's done. He lets go. Hogan hulks up, and it still works. This crowd loved Hogan hulking up.
They went nuts for this guy.
They're losing their...
He was crazy.
They're losing their mind. He hits the boot, hits the leg drop. Flair comes back down and attacks Hogan. Mistake on Flair's part. It's Hogan versus two men for a long time. Finally, Lex hits Hulk with a chair. He goes down. Doug Dillinger gets in the ring. Lex puts his arm in the chair and breaks it. And that's how the show goes off the air. There was no finish in the last man standing cage match.
Well, I mean, it was escape the cage, and so my assumption from watching this is that the first two men to put their feet on the ground were in fact the heels.
That's a reasonable assumption.
So I believe that Lex Luger was in fact the winner of this particular.
I hope they alert us to what happened after curfew here.
Gosh, I'm going to be on the edge of my seat
On
when I
next
find
week's show.
out.
So the best thing on the show, besides the My Show, was in fact Hulk Hogan versus Ric Flair in the year 2000.
Yeah, that surprises you. Why?
I don't know. I mean, it shouldn't surprise me. It's kind of.
I mean, it is a disaster for WCW.
You're paying a lot of guys a lot of money to stay alive, and your best reaction is for the two legends
I love that they're in a steel cage match. They're surrounded by metal, barbed wire, or not barbed wire, but galvanized steel, chain link. He takes his fucking guy to the corner. He puts his cast in the corner, and he rams his head into his own cast.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, this is stupid for 1,000 reasons.
Sure.
Number one, throw him into the metal. Number two, that's your broken arm. Why are you ramming this guy's head in your arm?
All legit questions.
So that was Nitro.
Well, I got your music.
Okay then. You told me you had my music.
You shut up.
The finishes on this show were DQ due to run in after 30 seconds. Clean pin. DQ due to interference. Pin after an imposter and a commentator were both in the ring and a chair was used several times. DQ when one guy hits his own partner with a chair. Pin after distraction. Clean pin. No finish in a last man standing steel cage match.
Shazam.
Shazam.
That's it, everybody.
Actually, I have something to plug.
Oh, God.
Excuse me?
Why did my Siri turn on? Go ahead.
You know Nick Wayne? You familiar with the young man?
I've never heard of him.
Buddy Wayne's son is wrestling his first match in the States this Sunday.
That's right.
He's wrestling in Everett, Washington. He's wrestling for WAC Pro Wrestling. You can still get tickets at
Without a cause, pro wrestling.
Yes, you can still get tickets at wacprowrestling.com. Shane Strickland will be there, Joey Ryan, DJ Z, and Hammerstone from Impact. Young Nick will be teaming with Cody Chun, and he will be facing King Cash and Guillermo Rosa.
Check it out.
All Buddy Wayne guys.
Yeah.
Sunday, everybody. Without a cause wrestling. Someday they may get a cause.
Maybe.
Not right now. That's right. Check out young Nick Wayne. He's better than half the guys on this Nitro, I think about right
Better than half the guys in this room.
I was going to say, yeah.
All right, everybody, we're going to wrap it up for today. You can check out more, video.f4wonline.com. Shirts are up, f4wonline.com/shirts. Get your Shoot Battle Royal winner shirt that Vince didn't wear tonight. -5 stars, G-Raf shirts, all sorts of great stuff. And that's it, everybody. We'll talk to you again after a while.
Good night.
Adios.
Bye.